Hello and welcome, my name is Kyle FtW and welcome back to another Call of Duty Vanguard video. Today we're back with another best class setup video here within the game, taking a look here at the brand new Marco 5 SMG, which was of course added with Season 4. Now this is a very interesting SMG, it's very popular at the moment, you can run into it in pretty much every lobby. And I would say it's even overshadowed the MP40 a little bit more. You actually, in some of my lobbies anyways, you will sometimes see a little bit more Marco 5s than you will actually see the MP40. So it's a really solid SMG, really strong, and I think I have a pretty solid class for you guys. The two gameplays that I have for you is some gameplay on Oasis, as well as if we go over, I think I have some gameplay on Dome, I believe. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this class setup. So starting off here with the very first attachment, I've gone for the Recoil Booster, which improves the fire rate by 2 at the cost of -1 to the accuracy. Now, it will come a little bit later within the video, but the reason that I have this attachment is basically, as self-explanatory, to improve the fire rate of the weapon. It does have a pretty slow fire rate with the class that I have here, so I just want to make sure that it shoots a little bit faster and is a little bit more accurate. And, you know, the faster the weapon shoots, usually the faster it kills. So, I mean, pretty self-explanatory. That's the first attachment. Pretty simple there. Next, for the barrel, I've gone for the Immerito 342mm 04P, which improves aim down sight speed, improves reduced, or allows it to have reduced scope, sway, and gun bob, allows it to be highly accurate and controllable, and gives it increased flinch resistance at the cost of sprint to fire speed and hip fire accuracy. So this is one of the best barrels for this weapon in my opinion. I experimented with some of the other ones, including the fire rate barrel itself, but I just felt like this was probably the best one because all of those positives are really nice, and the negatives don't really affect the weapon too much. Usually these barrels for SMGs that allow it to, you know, allow it to have less recoil and all that type of stuff usually hurt the weapon quite a bit, but in this case, with this weapon in particular, it doesn't really affect it at all. I mean, those little small sprint to fire speed or hip fire accuracy negatives are countered with some of the future attachments, so it's just really good. This class allows it to have 0 recoil, or this barrel I should say allows it to have 0 recoil, and is just is the best barrel for it in my opinion. I mean, you could probably experiment with some of the other ones, but this is just one that I have gone for personally because it just is a no-brainer to me. It's the best one. For the optic, I've gone for nothing. This is obviously up to you, but I mean, this weapon has really nice iron sights anyway, so I just don't really see the point in having an optic on here, especially because the optics seem to be extra zoomed in for some reason. I'm not sure why that is, and it also has no alternate iron sight attachments, so no reason to have an optic in my opinion. And that is the next attachment. For the stock, I've gone for the Immerito FR, which improves the unlocking movement speed by 3, improves initial accuracy and recoil control by 2, improves recoil recovery by 1, and improves aim down sight speed by 1 at the cost of hip fire accuracy and recoil during sustained fire, and -1 to movement speed. So something about this barrel makes the weapon feel just extremely fast. I don't know what it is because I have no attachments that make you run faster, but as you guys can see from the gameplay, I'm just running all over the map super fast, and obviously this wouldn't be it because it hurts the movement speed by 1, but I don't know what it is about it, but it just feels really fast. I mean, that aim-locking movement speed is nice to have because, you know, any weapon can benefit from that. It makes it so instead of, you know, it being slow when you aim down sights, which is not really the case with SMGs normally, but it's just nice to have a little bit of extra movement. Initial accuracy and recoil is nice to have as well because it simply enough can kill enemies faster, which is a bonus as well. +1 to recoil recovery is nice also because you're shooting weapon and you're going to be, you know, usually it takes about 15 shots to kill one enemy, not statistically, but just with accuracy and factoring all that stuff in. And we also improve the aim down sight speed by 1 as well, which is obviously a nice thing and makes the weapon feel a little bit faster. Obviously the negatives aren't really too big of a deal because I just don't feel them, I just don't notice them, and everything like that. So now for the underbarrel, I've gone for the SMLE pistol grip. This is pretty much a staple on all of my SMG classes. I really never stray away from this attachment because it's just so good. It improves the pistol fire speed by 2 and improves the hip fire accuracy by 1 at the cost of recoil control and accuracy by 1. So it's just a no-brainer to me as well because, you know, with SMGs you need to have a fast sprint to fire time. Usually SMGs have the fastest sprint to fire time in the game anyway because they're, you know, those weapons that are supposed to be good from close range, allow you to be a very rush heavy player, hence why I like them so much. So, having that little extra speed when you aim down sights, obviously we also had some attachments that hurt it. So I think now we're in the green, positive for hipfire accuracy or sprint to fire speed. And obviously hipfire accuracy is super, super important on SMGs as well because, well, you just need it. You need hipfire accuracy because sometimes you'll get into a bad situation where maybe you didn't reload or aim down sight in time and you can get killed. However, if you have this hipfire accuracy improvements, then you can easily just get a kill and move on and everything is going really, really well. For the magazine, now this is where I was talking about some of the other attachments and why they are a big deal to this class. For the magazine, I've gone for the 8mm Kurtz 30 round mag, which improves bullet velocity and range by 2, improves bullet penetration by 1, and damage by 1 at the cost of -5 to recoil control and accuracy, -2 to fire rate, and -1 to movement speed. So obviously this is the damage damage magazine for the weapon. Obviously, there's the 45 round drum, which improves the ammo capacity in general. There's the Nambu, which decreases the recoil by a lot at the cost of bullet velocity and everything like that. And I just decided to go with the damage rounds because I just love the damage rounds in the game. To me, the weapon feels a little bit more controllable with the damage range and damage and bullet velocity attachments on there. It just feels better in my opinion, and I like it in every single way. I did actually experiment a little bit with the 9mm 45 round drum, but this magazine itself just felt better. It felt like it killed faster and everything of that nature. And overall, it's just really, really good. I love the damage rounds. I pretty much use them on every single class that I have, maybe minus a couple, because it's just so effective and can kill so fast. So obviously, as I mentioned before, I added some attachments that helped with this magazine, specifically the Recoil Booster, which improves the +2 to fire rate, which negates the fire rate negatives of the magazine. And I have the barrel, which decreases the which kind of pretty much negates entirely the recoil control and accuracy negatives, and obviously the movement speed I once again don't feel. Now this is where things get a little bit different. I mean, obviously the muzzle is really different since I haven't been using a silencer, which I pretty much use as a staple on every class. But as I was testing out this class and making a best class setup video with it and everything like that, testing out attachments, I actually forgot about a very particular ammo type within this game called subsonic rounds, which allow no minimap ping and firing visibility to enemies, which means you're invisible off the radar. For some reason, I never really thought about this attachment. I was like, oh, this is not good. It's kind of a throwaway early attachment. But I was like, well, silencer hasn't been working out. I haven't been able to get good gameplay. Because for those guys who want to know or are curious, the way that I determine the best class setup video for this series is I equip a class, I play 5 games, and if they're above a 2 or 3 KD each of those games, then that is the best class. Obviously, that's not always the case. Sometimes it takes just 1 or 2 games where I'm just beasting and I just know, okay, this is the best class. But in this particular case, it did take me 5 games to figure out what best class setup was, and this was it. So obviously, you guys are seeing it right now. So again, the Recoil Booster was kind of an unorthodox attachment, but I decided to equip the subsonic rounds, which take place of a silencer. Obviously, if you have a really, really good players that you're playing against, they will pick up on it at times. But if they're like me, this is a very common attribute with myself as well. I'm a very much minimap oriented player. I will stare at that minimap a lot, try and figure out where enemies are, and if there's a silenced weapon, chances of me knowing that there's an enemy there are very, very low. So I love the subsonic rounds, especially that no minimap ping. That's something that's especially important with this round or this ammo type, because if you get a kill, instead of that little white skull that shows up to the enemies, it's nothing. So you can be very, very stealthy with this type of round. It does decrease the bullet velocity by 1, which is kind of a bummer, but again, we have the help with that on the 8mm Kurtz and everything like that, which is very, very awesome. And the class feels good. It does kill from medium range pretty well, but obviously it's close range is where it shines the most. For the rear grip, this is basically not different at all. I've gone for the fabric grip once again, which improves the aim down sight speed by 1, the sprint to fire time by 2, and the hip fire recoil recovery by 1 at the cost of 1 to accuracy. And you guys are probably, getting kind of a common theme with this class. Well, you're hurting a lot of accuracy and recoil control. But as you guys can see from the gameplay, the weapon doesn't seem to kick that much, and I think it is mainly because of the barrel. The barrel just makes it so that the weapon still has very, very low recoil. Obviously, with the stock, increasing that, recoil, accuracy and recoil during sustained fire, you can feel that from time to time, which does become a problem. But again, you're not going to be trying to beam people from long range anyways. But anyways, back to the fabric grip. Again, this is kind of my staple on every weapon within Vanguard. It's just so, so useful. If you have a class that feels a little bit slow, throw on the fabric grip, it'll automatically make it a lot faster. And this thing improves a lot of things with the SMG as well, aim down sight speed from sprint to fire speed, and hip fire recoil. So again, just one of the best grips in the game. I couldn't find anything else that was maybe better for this weapon. The only thing I could think of would maybe be the leather grip or maybe the hatched grip, but again, there's really no reason to have that. So I've gone for the fabric grip for the rear grip. For the proficiency, I've gone for the frenzy, which is immediately regenerate after kills, and this is awesome. I really like this. There's a whole bunch of really cool ones, including Akimbo, Gung Ho, Discard, which is also pretty useful as well, but I didn't really go for Akimbo because Akimbo isn't practical. It's just for fun. You're not going to have a very good class if you just use the Akimbo, because again, it hurts the range significantly, and that's definitely a problem when it comes to trying to do well with an SMG. So I've gone for Frenzy. I think that this was the best proficiency that we had in there. If there was sleight of hand, I'd probably use that instead. But Frenzy is really awesome. I've actually thought about doing a live commentary just using Frenzy. But that health regeneration after kills is so useful. It allows you to rush very aggressively, get a lot of kills. Your health will obviously regen on its own right after that kill, which means you can get into a gunfight very quickly. Pretty much negates stim, but I'll talk about my lethal and tactical here shortly. But I just love stim, and in my opinion, it is the best proficiency. And then last but not least, for the kit, we have fully loaded, which improves the max starting ammo. This is my go-to for every single weapon in Vanguard. I see no reason to use anything else. It's just super useful. You have 180 in reserve, which means you can go on a massive streak without worrying about running out of ammo. The only time that it becomes a problem is if you go on a massive V2 streak, which doesn't really happen too often. At least for me, it doesn't happen too often. Obviously, for those of you who do that, you might want to have Scavenger as well. But again, some of these things just aren't very useful to me. Like surplus is fine. On hand, I mean, they just don't seem useful. I'd rather have a lot of ammo than have just a fast melee weapon. So I mean, that's basically where I am with it, and that's what I went ahead and worked with this setup. So that's absolutely everything for the setup here with the new Marco 5 SMG. Again, it's a very solid class in my personal opinion. I did very well with it consistently. I think the lowest KD gameplay I ever got with it was a 1.5, and that's only because I was really tired. Pretty much every single gameplay when I'm in an awake mood and everything like that, above a 3, above a 2. So it's a good class. I'm definitely feeling pretty confident with it, and you guys will have to let me know how you do with it as well. For the secondary, I've gone for the French Blue Mastercraft for the Clouser. Obviously, I will put the class up on the screen right now for you guys to take a look at, the normal way I do it. I've gone for the M1929 silencer, the Fitzherbert 200mm BL barrel, the Slate reflector, the lightweight trigger, the 45 ACP 8-round mag, the lengthened ammo type, the stippled grip, the spotter, and finally quick. And it's just a very reliable secondary. Kills in 2 shots consistently. You have no need to worry about any more than that. And I love this pistol. It's my favorite secondary in the game at the moment. I used it in my pistol only live episode, and it was awesome. It was very strong, and it's very reliable if I get into a situation where I run out of ammo, because the Marco 5 only has 30 rounds per mag. Having this is super useful, and I love it. It's very reliable, and you guys will have to give this a go, or at least make a variation of it with a regular class if you didn't get it in the battle pass. Then finally, for the perks, we have gone for the same stuff as always. I'm just going to go ahead and throw them all up on screen right now. Cold-blooded, radar, and lightweight. Simply enough, I'm not going to go through everything again because I've done this in so many episodes. It's literally in all of my live episodes. Cold-blooded I use simply enough because I hate dying by dogs. I usually play solo, which means my teammates tend to be a little bit worse, so the enemy gets dogs all the time. Enemies will get airstreaks as well. The high alert was very popular when I switched to cold-blooded. It's still pretty popular right now in this game as well. I mean, it's kind of been undershadowed by piercing vision, but I still love cold-blooded. It's super useful. Makes you a little bit stealthy. Obviously, you still are showing up on the UAV if an enemy gets one, but again, I would rather not die. I would rather get killed by an enemy who's actually playing smart using his UAV than getting killed by high alert or getting killed by a dog. Also, something that I actually recently started doing with cold-blooded is running out and actually still playing normally when the enemies have a ball turret gunner in the air, because you don't show up, and a lot of the players I found don't know that I'm an enemy, so I just continue playing as if it were normal and there was no streak in the air, and that's definitely really useful. Perk 2, radar. Again, self-explanatory. Enemies appear on your minimap when they fire an unsilenced weapon. Like having the classic minimap. I've basically never experimented with anything else. Just don't see the point. Obviously, forward intel and piercing vision are very good perks, but I refuse to use piercing vision because it's broken, and forward intel. I just like having my regular mini-map, so I just haven't given forward intel a try, but I should probably give it a go at some point here soon, being that this game is almost over with its life cycle. And last but not least, lightweight. This is the perk that I've used since day one in this game. I just can't really go without it. So, I mean, it increases your movement speed. It's just really nice to have. I don't know how much it affects your class if you don't use it, but I just have never gotten rid of it. I just love lightweight, love being speedy across the map, and that's just the way that I play. And then last but not least, I had to catch my breath a little bit because I've been talking really, really fast. I've gone for the lethal, the sticky bomb. Again, same thing as always. Use it to throw it onto an objective, throw it onto an area. It doesn't roll like a grenade, so it's just a little bit more accurate, can do a little bit more damage. Now for the tactical. So I'm using the stim still on this class. And you guys may be like, well, why are you using the stim when you have frenzy? And the simple reason for that is your only time taking damage won't just be gunfights. So you'll get hit by a random grenade, or you'll get hit by a random streak, or you'll get hit by a random gunfight, somebody shooting you in the side, and I hate that. So I have stim just in case I get one of those weird situations. Sometimes I'll win a gunfight, I'll get weak, I'll forget that I have frenzy and use my stim, but I just like having it still in my back pocket. I tried experimenting with other tacticals, and they just didn't seem as useful for me, because the gunfights that I actually got in and got weakened versus getting random damage was actually more than the gunfight itself. So just having that stim is just nice to have just in case, and it also helps you rush because it refreshes the tactical sprint. And then last but not least, for the whole class setup video, for the field upgrade, I have gone for armor plates. This is something that I've been using in Vanguard an absolute ton lately because it is just so good. I mean, what it does simply enough is it just protects you from getting just annoying deaths. Sometimes, you'll get into this kind of a questionable gunfight, armor will save you, and you can keep going on a streak. And I just really enjoy using armor. It's just super useful, and that is what I have gone with. So there we go, guys. That is actually going to do it for this best class setup video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Unfortunately, these Vanguard episodes are very long because we have to go through 9 attachments, all the perks, all the secondary, everything like that. So I know that these are very long videos, but I still hope you guys managed to enjoy it. I had a lot of fun rocking out with this SMG here as well. As far as the next best class setup video, I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. It's either going to be the brand new LMG that was added into Season 4, or I'm going to be getting a best class setup video with the new AR that's coming with Season 4 Reloaded, I think. So I'm not really sure yet what I'm going to be doing best class setup video-wise, but if you guys want me to cover any weapon next within this series, just leave a comment down below, and I'll try and get that out for you guys as soon as I possibly can. Maybe I'll take a break from a DLC weapon, go over to a base weapon. Again, haven't decided yet. That's definitely something that I'll have to think about here within the future. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know how you guys get on with this class setup as well. If you guys did enjoy the video, I think it's always appreciated. I'll check out any of the previous episodes of this best class setup video series. They will all be linked down below in the description. The previous episode will be at the end of the video for you guys to check out as well. See you guys all on another Call of Duty Vanguard video very soon.